Hey, I'm right back with another video. It's 7:35 p.m. It is October 14th. It is, I believe it's Wednesday. Yes, it is Wednesday evening. So I'm just kind of kicking back here. And today was one of those relaxed days, okay? Very, very rare for me. But today I just kept thinking, I'm just going to kind of kick back. I'll like listen to some music, maybe watch a few videos or do something. But I didn't even really bother getting up, really. I mean, I did get up for like to make my son's lunch and stuff like that, but other than that, I mean, I just really didn't do anything. So it was one of those rare days, okay, which I don't like taking advantage of those kind of days very often because it's just not my nature. But every once in a blue moon, it's kind of nice to just kind of sit back and not do anything and hang out in your pajamas, right? So today I did that. And so I did some thinking, and more things start surfacing into my mind as the day was going on. And I was thinking about this whole thing about how I got in this situation. And, I don't like to bring up racism because I know it's a touchy subject. It's extremely touchy. Even when you're dealing with racism and it's obvious, okay? And then you state that you're dealing with racism, then the person that's enacting racism towards you, even though you are telling the truth, the undisputed truth, they will get offended, okay? So so it is a touchy subject, but for this, I'm making this video because entitling it, "Could it be more obvious?" So, um, this whole issue regarding my work issue, how we were dealing with me. Sometimes I wonder, like, are all jobs just setups, or at least my jobs, right? Because, I moved back to Bakersfield back in 2009 after being mobbed out of my job in Chatsworth, California. Okay, so then I moved back here because, obviously, I would say this community, Bakersfield, even though, Lancaster, where I'm from, people make the comparison, but I personally think that Bakersfield is more plentiful in a lot of different things, more so than the Antelope Valley. So I moved back here. So I came back here and I started working at the farmer's place, which I had mentioned before. And so, as I started working, everything was going fine, everything was dandy. And then, I mentioned bringing my ex-husband to the Christmas party, and things started getting really weird. I mean, really weird, okay? Before, I mean, as far as I knew, everything was going fine. I was going to work, coming home, everything seemed balanced to me, whatever. And then strange stuff started happening at my workplace. And then the girl who I was working with started acting strange, like almost overnight. Okay, so now I understand that this girl was kind of like serving as some sort of spy, I guess, maybe for my blood relations, and perhaps maybe the guy from high school or whatever. So anyway, so I realized something weird was going on with her, but I didn't, and I knew that people were acting very strange around me all of a sudden out of the blue. So I knew that I was getting mobbed out of my job. Okay, I knew weird stuff was going on beyond my control, you know. So then obviously I ended up leaving the farmer's place, right? Okay, so after leaving, what I consider to be a ridiculous issue and moving on, I have these people who chose to follow me. So they feel as though they're my network and they were very insistent on following me around. So then we have this girl here who I was working with who feels as though she has some sort of rights or authority over me. And the reason why people were supporting this girl, okay, is because of racism. I mean, obviously, that's the only thing I can think of. Okay, why in the world would I take or want to be advised by somebody who is younger than me? That doesn't necessarily, just because somebody's younger than you doesn't mean that they don't have any more wisdom than you. Okay, but obviously, her there was some sort of preferential treatment between her and I, even though I had no interest in being in a competition, but somehow or another, this community made us into a competition, and I had no desire to compete with this girl. I had no idea that she was so cutthroat. I figured after I left the place, I was on my own, go find another job or whatever. But anyway, I don't need her advice. Okay, obviously she puts a lot of emphasis on her religion. I'm not bashing anyone's religion, but obviously I don't share those same principles, and probably on anything that she wants to suggest. Um, so thing is, I was hired and I was told by the owner that I was in charge of the office. So why would a girl who is younger than me be looked upon as somebody who's going to provide guidance to an older woman? Okay, and I will tell you, it's racism. Okay, so, and that's another reason, one of the reasons why I didn't get the credit for my work that I was doing over at the farmer's place. So now we have this issue of, the issue, I did move here back in 2000, and then I ended up meeting my ex-husband. I remember when I met him, and I never thought we were going to end up getting married, okay, but I did tell him that I was half white, and I never thought that he and I would get married, but we ended up getting married, okay? So it was too late to go back out of my lie and all this other stuff, so I never really found the right time to tell him. But we were ended up having marital problems anyway, because there was tension in the household because he wasn't used to being in home with the child and all this other stuff, right? So I got tired of it, and I felt it was in my best interest to leave due to his issues, not dealing with my son, the constant tension, blah, 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 blah. So I ended up leaving. So, and then I came back, and then he seemed very adamant about getting back together with me, okay? So we ended up getting back together, and we moved into a house back in 2010, and I took him to the Christmas party, and this is when the shit started happening, okay? So, you know, I do believe that there was some sort of competition, that maybe his family, my family, or maybe the guy from high school, whatever, I don't know, okay? But it makes sense when I'm starting to think about this, and I have no interest in competing with this girl, none whatsoever. Thing is, when you're dealing with a racial issue, it doesn't matter how much smarter I am. It doesn't matter if I'm, 10 times more intellectual than this person is. The reason why there's more preference for this particular person is mainly because she is half white. And I really can't see any other reason why, okay? And that's all very well and good. So, you want to hang out with the people that you identify with, and so, that's fine. But I don't want anything to do with this girl, okay? And then also, I do feel as though there's a misuse of the white privilege issue, because we have a person, I'm going to refer to my ex-husband's family, who doesn't respect my will. I'm obviously saying, come what may, I don't want to have any association with you, okay? But she understands the power that a white privilege can bring her, and somehow or another, her word, her lifestyle is far more credible than mine in the community because she's white. And that's the only reason why, okay? When everything that she's doing is downright criminal. I'm not trying to bash it. I do not want to prolong an argument, but this is what we're dealing with, okay? Can I make it more obvious? Could it be more obvious, okay? We're dealing with racism here. So I fully understand that, okay? And I honestly think that this is the most craziest thing ever. I don't, I do understand that there's networks, and that people want to work in these networks, and they usually consent to being a part of a network. I have no interest in consenting to be a part of a network. Also, I don't, my views in life are completely different than this so-called network. And to try to force me to adhere to lifestyle principles that are not my own is and then forcing somebody to work in a method or style that that they want you to, and trying to change your habits and who you are when you're almost 50 years old, okay? And being stubborn about it, and being stubborn about it is a form of their white supremacy, okay? And I'm well aware of it, whether they believe it or they want to accept it or not. Like I said, I'm not a racist person, but I do understand that racism exists. I'm not dumb, okay? I'm not dumb at all. And I do understand that it exists. So why would I want to have anything to do with somebody who doesn't respect my will, does things against my will, doesn't respect who I am as a person? I don't. You know what I mean? So I ended up getting divorced 2 years ago. Okay, and that should be respected. Do you honestly think that I want to be friends or associate with people who are going to treat me in that sort of manner? I don't think so. You know what I mean? I don't understand why my blood relations would get involved with this, but I understand my blood relations is a mixed group. You know, there's white people in my family. So there's a lot of poor judgment and a lot of like really foolish shit that goes on in that family. Okay, there just is. But I'm not I don't want to compete with somebody who is that much younger than me. I don't want to be a part of a religion. I am not a traditionalist. I have traditional values. I think that I have good values, okay? But life sometimes gives you things that you didn't expect. So I deal with those things, and this is my life. This is the life that I live, okay? I have no desire to reconcile with Joel. And I know that there has been so many attempts to try to force this marriage issue to the point of where I'm literally disgusted by the entire thing. I am literally sick and damn tired of it. And then how people can sit by and watch this horrible thing happen to another human being is like beyond comprehension to me. You know, because we're dealing with somebody who, you know, I was talking, actually, no, I wasn't talking. I was reading an article today. These little emails that come through my email, my mailbox. The one that I just recently did called the one about domestic violence. There's another one that came out about divorcing a narcissist, okay? I only read a little bit, but I'm like, okay, I get it. I'm not interested in winning a competition. I don't want to be in a competition. My life doesn't revolve around, what do you call it, one-upping people. I'm just trying to get through this miserable piece of shit life, okay? And it's not that I feel like my life's miserable. I feel as though there are things that go on outside in the world that are bad, and I don't want to be associated with it. I don't want to use poor judgment in my life. And I personally feel as though these people have principles that are in constant conflict with mine. And I don't want to be in conflict. You know what I mean? I don't want to be in conflict. I don't want to sit here and try to argue or stand my or express my point of view. I have the right to have my point of view. Okay? I don't believe in enforcing religious views on people. Okay, and I already did a video expressing why, okay? I don't believe that women should only wear dresses, okay? I think that, you know, I'm a 50-year-old woman. And so, you know, this issue to me is wrong. It's wrong on many levels. And, you know, I notice that there's times where, you know, people have a hard time accepting the fact that I don't like them. They do. They have a very hard time because they always somehow in their mind they find some sort of logic or reason like, oh, you know, she has to forgive us, but you know, we care about her, blah 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 blah. But your actions show something completely opposite. You know, you don't squash out people's ideas and dreams and their aspirations for things that they need, and then you act like it has to have your I have to have your stamp of approval. I'm not related to my ex-husband. We're not related. Okay, we're divorced. We've been divorced for quite a long time. So, you know, I understand like when you know people, you know, you get in more. You tend to get more advantages from people. I've never asked his mother for anything or his aunt. I think his aunt probably has a lot of influence. I know she's got, I'm assuming she has money. I'm assuming she has a certain amount of wealth or whatever. I don't know for sure, but I'm assuming whether she's wealthy or not. I would never ask anybody for anything. You know, when I was with him, I never asked her to get me a job. Now, she may have arranged jobs behind my back or scenes, but I never asked her to. Okay, I don't. Now, I don't know how do you express like and without being rude and basically saying get out of my life. But really, I don't want to be associated with these people. I just don't. So anyway, yeah, those are the things that I was thinking about today, and you know, what happened over at the farmer's place, you know, it was unfortunate because, like, I was very focused on my work and I was in a very good mood almost every day coming to work. I really enjoyed my job. And so when you deal with this outside intrusion and then people causing, stirring up issues or whatever, you know, I don't need that garbage. You know, I'm a person who is very serious about my work. And, you know, sure, I do act goofy because sometimes I think my life and the things that I think about on my free time are extremely serious. You know, I think about world suffering. I think about, you know, injustices. I think about a lot of heavy, deep stuff that most people really don't want to have to hear. So instead of talking about things that are going to make people break down and cry, I'm more the kind of person who wants to take things lighthearted. And I do like to laugh. I do like to laugh, okay? But don't take my good sense of humor as a sign of immaturity, because there's nothing immature about that. I'm a very mature person. I make good decisions. I base my decisions based on ethics, morals, the laws that we have. I'm very respectful of other people. Okay. If I'm misunderstood, whether I'm misunderstood or not, you got people who want to constantly show you lessons, teach you lessons, give me their advice and all this other stuff. Hey, keep your advice to yourself. Okay. I have a life to live, and this is my life. You don't have to like my arts and crafts. I don't want to have an association with you. And it's not, it's not that. Um, it's the right thing to do. I mean, you don't treat other people that way. So I have things to figure out in my life because, I don't want to work jobs that are set up by perps. I don't want to do it because it will never be a harmonious work relationship. It's always going to be a problem. There's always going to be tension. If they don't like your shoes, they're going to sit here and have people act out stuff. It's never going to be a workable relationship. People have to work and function their own way in order to feel comfortable. Like the reasons why people have dream jobs or jobs that are ideal to them is because it either coincides with their basic beliefs or their core of life or their life principles. You hear things like work-life balance. That can mean multiple things, okay? But work-life balance to me is where, you feel a certain level of contentment. You're not overly focused on work, and you're not overly focused on your home life. When you're at work, you do things that are necessary, but they don't burden your life. You don't bring the garbage that you deal with at home work into your home life, and vice versa. They are balanced completely. They make sense. And I've always been very protective of my environment. I have always wanted to not ever have my work life interfere with my home life. You know what I mean? I don't like that. I remember like there was a party that we had, and I was debating whether or not to take my son. You know what I mean? And when I took my ex-husband to the Christmas party, I was thinking about that too, because in the back of my mind I kept thinking, I don't want work to blend in with my personal life. That is my own personal principle, because people have dramas. I never realized how like bad certain dramas can be and how they want to bring their bullshit into your personal life, okay? But I just always kept thinking, okay, sometimes there's tensions at work, and when you come home, you want to be free of those tensions. You don't want to deal with whatever happened in the office. You want to be able to come back to an environment that feels warm and fulfilling or whatever. The relaxation, the peace that you get in your home, right? So I'm one of those people who, unless of course you have a really, really good friend, but they must not interfere with your personal life. And that's how it has to be with me. I don't like that interference. I don't like it at all. So anyway, we have this girl from my old workplace, the farmer's place, who wants to take advantage of my life's projects, things that I need in order for my life to support myself, right? And then trying to force the issue, and then going around to different employers and the blacklisting, the illegal activity. It's all illegal. It's all illegal, all of it. And I understand that people think, oh, well, this girl, she probably knows what she's talking about. And the reason why you think this is because of her whiteness. You think, oh, well, she must be smarter than Maria because blah, 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 blah. I'm going to tell you right now, no. No. And that's not me being competitive. It's just that there's a lot of people who violate laws. They do it all the time, okay? Whether they're ignorant of it or they are purposely doing it. When they purposely do it, then you're just a goddamn criminal. Basically, is what it is. But, the thing is, people want to make me model myself after someone that, number one, is younger than me. Number two, it wouldn't matter if she and I were identical, it looked identical. She is always going to be preferred over me based on her race. And that's it. It doesn't matter if I worked my ass off at the farmer's place. What matters is that this is some sort of bullshit competition that other people started in order to discredit me. And that's just it. Because I worked my ass off at that place. Okay, I worked very hard at that job. Okay, and so and then you get these people that they insist on keeping me in their little network when there is no warm feelings towards these people at all. I don't respect their business sense. I don't respect their religious views. I respect people's religion and I respect people's right to have their religion. Don't enforce that shit on me. Okay, if you like wearing dresses every day, you wear your dresses every single day. You wear them every single day. I like to bounce back and forth, okay? And if I need to wear pants, then I think pants are appropriate. And then you have this, and it's always the people who talk the most who have very little knowledge. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. And it's not me trying to start an argument, but I'm really trying to clarify some things because, throughout the course of my making these videos, I was putting things together, putting it all together, and it makes sense now, and I'm trying to get to the root of it, and I think that is the root of it. You know what I mean? I'm not comfortable with people, especially when you get a divorce, okay? I got a divorce for good reasons, for very good reasons, okay? And I still see the very fact that this person still wants to be a part of my work life and still wants to try to manipulate me and shape and mold me is just right there, shows you that there is no repentance on their part. They still want to control and they still want to abuse. It's that simple. So why do you think that I would want to go back to a person who does that? I don't want to deal with it. I don't want someone like that. And especially if this is a racial issue, why would I deliberately put myself in a situation where I'm dealing with somebody who's racist, who's clearly racist? Because the only reason why this woman, who I personally don't believe has a good life, I don't respect her lifestyle, okay, I don't. I'm not bashing it. She has the right to live her life however she wants to. But when you see somebody who has morals to where, you're basically trafficking a person, you're denying them their rights to live, and people are listening to this person like they have more respectability than someone because of my race. We're dealing with racism, and the fact that she's taking advantage of it, we're dealing with racism. So why would I want to have a relationship, friendship, or even worse, a romantic relationship with this particular person? And I'm referring to my ex-husband. I don't. Okay. And so, I know that there's been efforts to keep me married, blah, 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 blah. There's too many things that I feel, negative feelings that I have, that would never allow me to cohabitate with that person. So it is, and so, and I prefer to keep my life separate. I prefer to keep work separate. And so there's times where you do meet a work friend, okay? Like you have a friend at work and you do things on the weekend and stuff like that. But don't bring your personal dramas into my life. Don't sit here and tell me about, you have a certain particular religion that you believe in, and then you're going to sit here and force it and brainwash a bunch of other people who are weak-minded and turn people against me. Okay, I never considered this girl at work my friend. When I first met her, I thought she was a very sweet girl. I really did. I thought she was like this girl, little old-fashioned girl. She seemed very cute to me, right? She had bows in her hair and stuff like that. So that was like something that it seemed nostalgic and cute and innocent. And, I liked her. I thought she was a very sweet girl. I remember making things for her because I make felt art, making things for her and whatever. I liked this person. And then almost as overnight, she started getting tyrannical and strange on me, okay? So what can make a person tyrannical and strange is that perhaps maybe she was in love with the guy from high school, or she was in love with my ex-husband, or she could have been playing them both. You know what I mean? Or whatever. She was vying for some sort of attention and created a competition that I didn't ask to be a part of. Why would I want to sit here and fight for somebody Like, why would I want to fight for somebody to win the heart of somebody in a relationship with somebody else? Now, there are some people who like those kind of competitions. There's a lot of women, they are all up for that competition. This is the kind of shit that they thrive on. They love this sort of shit. They love it, love it, love it. I'm the kind of person, it's like, well, I don't want to have anything to do with that sort of stuff. You know what I mean? I don't. You know what I mean? And it doesn't make me like fiery and want to like, go after my man and show her and teach her a lesson. To me, it's like, why bother? Why bother? I'm not one of those kind of people. Now, maybe she is. Maybe this is the kind of stuff that she likes to do. And you know what? Find someone else to do that with. But I'm not interested in playing those games. I'm really not. You know, when somebody has done something like that to you, why what would make me feel as though those people are appealing to me? They're not. They're not. It doesn't matter how cute the guy from high school is. The guy from high school was very good looking. But like I said, looks aren't everything. They're not. But principles are. Principles are everything. You know? So you get these people who like, this social pressure or people expecting people to be married and stuff like that. And I've already stated my case why I choose not to get married. And if I did get married, it would be not with these people. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be with these people. You know what I mean? But I don't have the desire to get married. You know what I mean? I don't have the desire to sit here and start a family. I'm already almost 50 years old. I'm just trying to wrap up the last few years of my life and get on with it. You know? And that's it. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm not interested in, I know there's a lot of people who want to cohabitate. There's a lot of lonely people my age. So there's a lot of people who can't understand why in the world do you not want to be in a relationship? Because I don't want to deal with that baggage. It's baggage to me. It's baggage because, I don't know, who to trust anymore. Number two, I don't have the attention or the ability to devote attention to a relationship. I don't, okay? I just don't. Because there's times where I don't feel like making food. There's times where I don't feel like doing these sort of things. That doesn't make me a bad person. It makes me somebody who understands my limitations and what I can and cannot do. You know what I mean? It's bad when a person knows good and well that they don't belong in one of those old-fashioned type marriages, and then they shrug their shoulders and thinks, I'm going to do this anyway, and they're putting strain on themselves. They start taking it out on their marriage partner, okay? Because they start either ignoring them, coming back with sharp, hurtful remarks. I've seen people throwing things at each other, getting all cutthroat and stuff like that. And same thing with people who deep down inside don't want kids. And then they have their relatives constantly pressuring them, go out and have some kids. So they try to, fit into this whole, conventional life, and they want to please their relatives, so they have a kid. And guess what? Their kid either gets ignored, or they're pounding that poor kid's face in every day because they're starting to abuse it, because there's a lot of resentment there. There are sometimes, I know people don't understand my stance on a lot of things, but I'm making wise decisions. I'm making very wise decisions. You know, I'm not trying to make somebody get married to somebody, and I'm not interested in fulfilling the duties of a wife. I have no desire to do that. None. I simply am not up to that. And that same thing goes for children. I think children are adorable. I think they're cute. When I see them in town, I always like, wave at them. There was one, we went to a little restaurant across the street from my house. Yes, what was it? A few days ago. Okay, for my son's birthday. It was a cute little girl, and she was really cute. She had jet black hair and creamy brown skin, and she was sitting here eating, and she looked so adorable. So I waved at her, and yes, kids are very cute. They're very cute, but I don't have the patience for them. You know what I mean? I have the patience maybe to sit down and do an arts and craft project with them. I have the patience to sit, read them a story, maybe play with them, maybe play with their toys, entertain them a little bit like that. But other than that, I mean, I don't. And I know that. I know that. You know what I mean? And so when you put pressure on people to do things that they don't want to do, like a lot of people put pressure on women to have children, and then they end up doing, first of all, I would never physically abuse a child, okay? But I know that my mind is not always on tending to the needs of other people, mainly because I always have drama in my life that I have to deal with a lot of over worries about issues like keeping a roof over my head, right? Because we got psychotic people hanging out with me and trying to like ruin my life, okay? But still, I'm not in a position to do that. So it's knowing yourself, knowing who you are, what your limitations are, what you can give. I do have a love enough for children. Like, for example, when I saw a few kids, one time I saw a few kids, who kind of stray from their mom, or I see them walking by themselves, and I look at this kid, I'm like, where's your mom? Where's your mom? Is your mom close by? I'll ask things like that because I don't want anything to happen to these kids. You know what I mean? So, I'm overprotective of children. I think kids are cute. I love their little world. I love their colorful little ideas and imaginations. But I know that I'm not cut out to be a mother. I'm just not. You know what I mean? I think I did a good job with my son, okay? But back then, at the time, I was really young and I was naive, and I fully wanted my son. I wanted my son, and I wanted him to be happy and all these other things. And I would have had better opportunities to provide better for him. I would have been in a better situation if I did not have the intrusion of my family. Okay, they made life very difficult for me. Okay, but I was up to the challenge. Okay, I mean, I wanted to go ahead and find a job, take care of him. I was willing to do that, and I wanted to do that. I wanted to take care of my son. Okay, that's one of the reasons why I moved out here. Like I said, the cost of living, I had to make some plans for myself. Okay, I was up to the challenge. And you know what? I will say that when my son was younger, he was the joy of my life. He still is. Okay, but they made my life extremely burdensome with the bullshit going on at my work and everything else. And I could have had a better life as a mother. Meaning that I could have, like, instead of me staying home on the weekends worrying about, is somebody gonna fire me, they're gonna constantly bullshit, cause me problems at work, they're gonna have issues, worry. I could have been like, taking him to trips to Magic Mountain and Disneyland and do more regular stuff. But I was always worried about, am I gonna have a job? Okay, so these people took up a lot of my life, okay. And so when I'm telling people that these are my life goals, these are my life principles, these are the things that I need in my life to do. And then you got people who want to come in and flip the script and say, well, this is what we want you to do. I can't be enthusiastic about work if I'm not working in the way that I need to. Okay, if I'm going to be expected to adhere to religious principles that are not my own, okay, if I'm going to have to sit here and wear clothes that are not my own, you know what I mean, or my own style or whatever, then I'm going to tell you right, that's a disaster waiting to happen. It's a disaster waiting to happen. I will be probably fired the very first day I walk in the door because my attitude will not be, and that's just it. When you look for work, you need to find a job where you're going to be happy. And atmosphere, environment, and these sort of things are very important. Now, I had one competent person, okay, that I worked with many years ago, okay? She was an agent. She was one of those employment agents. And she was basically saying, tell me about your work environment. What's your ideal work environment? And I appreciated her asking me that. Because some people, and I'm not picky, okay, some people want a posh work environment, okay? They want a work environment where they have, like, wonderful air conditioning and beautiful office furniture. They want, professional environment where people dress nice, and they want a lot of perks, and they want all these sort of things. But she was trying to figure out from me what I had. Now, I don't have a preference. I've worked in trailers before, okay? But what's most important to me is that I work in an environment where I feel comfortable. Okay? You don't want to go into a work environment where people are expecting you to be a certain way. I know that people are like, well, you need to fit in and look like everybody else. I am never going to look like everybody else. I am a black woman in a predominantly white area. Okay, white and Hispanic area, which, to me, they're not the same, but they feel kind of the same in a way. But anyway, I'm not going to. You're placing expectations on me that are impossible to achieve. And nor do I want to strive for those things. I don't, you have to be comfortable where you're working. Okay? I don't like people telling me, and it's not me about me being rebellious, but I understand in this issue, this is 100% abuse, okay? 100% abuse. I don't want this girl in my life. I don't want anything to do with her. I don't want Joel's family in my life, okay? I don't really care for my blood relations, okay? They fucked up a lot of my life already, okay? So they're like, well, what are you going to do? You're going to just sit here and try to do something on your own? I have to figure that shit out myself. Okay, I need to have interactions with employers that are not going to be intercepted by some third party who thinks or who's arrogant enough to stand in my way of reaching my goals. I have the right to live my life. I have the right to live my life. And so when you have these people who want to put their hands in it, and I'm not asking for much. Like just today, okay, I got an email because I was applying for a few jobs online, right? I figured I'll try that. And I'm bouncing back and forth because I have no idea. After being a target individual, you have no idea how to proceed. And that's wrong. If you can't plan your life, make decisions based on your life, or strategize how you're going to do this, do that, then your life is really not, it's bullshit, okay? No one should be making those decisions for you. So you have to try different things. So I applied to an agency mainly to see, is this blacklisting bullshit or this kind of bullshit mind control shit still going on, right? So anyway, I wrote to this lady that I had worked with previously, but she was working for another agency. So then she sends me this letter and basically saying that she thought my YouTube videos were offensive. I was saying things about her, the owner of her company. I don't recall saying anything about the owner of this particular agency, but I do remember working with her over at CFS. And I do remember I believe my ex-mother-in-law had something to do with my termination. Okay. Which, the manipulation and the things that these people do, and the fact that they expect me to think that I would forgive them and overlook the things that, by taking things that I need in order to survive, is ridiculous. Okay. Now, so I don't. Oh, sorry. I don't. I don't know this particular lady over at this particular agency or not, but if she can't see what happened to me is wrong, I don't know what to tell her. You know what I mean? If I made videos talking about some of these employers that participate in this illegal activity, I'm going to tell you what, I have every right to. I have every right to. What happens to people who are silent or completely ignorant in situations like this? God knows what. God knows what. There's a lot of targeted individuals who do not know what is going on with them. Why is this happening to them? Okay? Now this woman is probably participating in human trafficking. Okay? I should be taken consider. I mean, I should be considered as a candidate regardless. Especially since somebody intercepted my employment the last time I got hired, or whatever. Okay. My point is that and I do believe either racism is playing into this, or her herd mentality is playing into this, or whatever. But one thing's for sure, I don't want to work under conditions that are not good for me. I don't want to work in conditions where I'm expected to be, to hollow myself out. Like the job over that I had over in Buttonwillow, okay? Now, mind you, I rarely saw anybody there, okay? But they seemed to get angry, if I was eating apples at my desk. I had my neighbors spying on me, what I was wearing, and all this other garbage, okay? And this is all illegal activity. What I do in my own time is my own business, and I know how to dress for work, okay? Now, when I worked at the farmer's place, there was no dress code. I bounced back and forth. Sometimes I dress nice, sometimes I dress more played down. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But it depends on the office environment. You know what I mean? And I don't want to wear clothes that aren't meant for me. I don't want to sit here and have to worry about how I'm going to style my hair. I don't want to have to sit here and worry about, I don't. I deserve to have the same rights as everyone else. I deserve that. And so don't expect me to want to be in a relationship with people who are denying me my rights and taking advantage of it because they know that they can. Because you're no different to me than somebody who is a member of the Ku Klux Klan. You are absolutely no different. So do you honestly think that I'm going to be warm and fuzzy and love these people? You're out of your mind. I can't possibly. Okay? People, to me, what you're doing is an act of terrorism. And it seriously makes me wonder, what are you people really? If you can't respect my will. You know? So yeah, and I even though this girl's biracial, if she doesn't understand that what she is doing is wrong, I don't know what else to tell her. But I will say, you know when they say things like jealousy blinds you? Like, and it does blind you. Because obviously, you know, this girl must have some sort of jealousy towards me because, and I don't understand why. And the only reason why I understand, the only reason what makes me think why she would be jealous of me is because she had a relationship with the guy from high school, or she possibly had a relationship with my ex-husband. Because it doesn't make sense for a young girl to have this sort of envy and competitiveness against a woman who is clearly older than her. Like when I was younger, I remember working with this lady in a department store, and she was much older than me. I was like 18 or 19, and she was like in her 30s. And I remember thinking, you know, I thought this woman was pretty. I thought she was like so sophisticated and everything else. And I liked her. I respected her, okay? But you know how some girls, you know, they get competitive and they get catty against one woman. I never thought to get catty and competitive because in my back of my mind, I was thinking, okay, this woman is so much older than me. You know what I mean? I didn't feel threatened by her at all, okay? Because we're not on the same page. Now, what puts people on the same page? Some sort of love interest, okay? I'm not interested in playing duels with people like that. If somebody leaves you for someone else, I don't the kind of person who's going to sit here and try to prove my point, try to impress this person, try to drag them back in. To me, okay, this is what you want, then fine. Go ahead and have that person and leave me alone. Okay? Because I'm not going to take, you know, someone who threw me under the bus and then expect me to just forget about it. Are you out of your mind? That's ridiculous, right? But some people do. Because like I said, there's some women who love this sort of fight. I've seen like stupid shit like on Jerry Springer. And I know a lot of their skits are probably fake, okay? But before talk shows got out of control, over the top, and utterly ridiculous, okay? There was a lot of these kind of conversations where like this woman's talking about how you stole my man and blah, 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 blah. And they're fighting for it. And then this woman's trying to do everything she can to win this guy back. And it's like, why? 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 That's pointless. So I don't care. I don't care. You know what I mean? I would say that when Joel and I were married, my ex-husband were married, we did have fun times. We laughed and we talked, okay? But I personally believe that he was like a liar, meaning like, you know, he was pretending, or this could have been a whole setup or whatever. I don't know. You know what I mean? But I'm not in love with this person. I'm just not. And in the back of their minds, they constantly think, and they probably tell people, oh, we're getting back together and all this other stuff, so they can continue to be manipulating my employment or whatever. I have no intentions of ever going back to marrying this person, living with this person, or acknowledging them. So anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video. I've got so many things to do. Going to get myself ready for bed. I just want to say that because every time I put the pieces of the puzzle together, it's like it's really important that I do that. Okay, it's really important. Like I said, I've been making videos for 5 years, over 1,000 videos. I don't know how many videos I have now, but it's over 1,000. I made a lot of videos, and I'm actually quite pleased with myself because it's like this was quite a little project. I never thought I would make so many videos, but I did, you know. And so this is my little. It serves as a log. It serves as a recorder. It serves as also proof, because what I'm telling you is 100% true. 100% true. Okay, so when you see people participating in something that they deep down inside know is wrong, you know what I mean? You know how serious this is and how I'm taking it, because it was a crime. It was a crime, and it's a shameful crime as well. So anyway, gonna wrap up this video. To all TIs, hey, stay safe.